I'd like to call to order the 1,446th meeting of the President and Board of Trustees for Machesney Park on this second day of April. Please rise for the invocation given this evening by Heath Tibbetts from First Baptist Church, and please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Trustee Eric Beck.
Let's pray together. Father, we thank you for this community you have placed us within. And Lord, I pray that you would continue to make us better neighbors to one another, neighbors who not only live next to one another, but care for one another and care for the concerns and the issues going on in the homes that make up Machesney Park. We just pray wisdom on our leaders. We thank you for giving them to us, and we pray in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk please take roll call?
Mayor Johnson.
Here.
Trustee Sipes.
Here.
Schmidt is absent. Kidd.
Here.
Wilson.
Here.
Bailey.
Here.
Beck.
Here.
Clerk is present. The attorney is present.
We have a quorum. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the March 19th board meeting.
So made.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes have been approved. Next, we'll have Treasurer's Report from Michelle Johansson, Finance and HR Manager.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Treasurer's Report as of March 26, 2018 reflected the total of all funds to be $10,138,705.96. A copy is available at the back of the room. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to accept the Treasurer's Report.
So made.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Treasurer's Report has been approved. Next, we'll have communications from Clerk Lori Mitchell.
Thank you, Your Honor. Several things this evening. First of all, on behalf of the village, I'd like to extend our condolences to our trustee Joe Sipes and his family on the death of his sister Mary Rambo. I knew Mary for many years, and she was a jewel, so she'll be missed. Also this evening, we're pleased to have a proclamation that Mayor Johnson will be presenting to Pamela Thompson, who's the director of RSVP, which is the Retired and Senior Volunteers Program for Boone and Winnebago counties. Trustee Wilson will be reading the proclamation. You can go ahead and read.
I was going to wait for her to come up.
Oh, thank you.
Whereas service to others is a hallmark of the American character and central to how we meet our challenges, and whereas the nation's mayors are increasingly turning to national service and volunteerism as a cost-effective strategy to meet cities' needs, whereas the RSVP program, Retired and Senior Volunteer Program for Boone and Winnebago counties, is the largest in the state of Illinois. They have 630 volunteers. Lutheran Social Services is the sponsor for this program. RSVP provides volunteer opportunities for people aged 55 and older with a myriad of experience and interests in all economic, educational, and social backgrounds to serve on a regular basis in a variety of settings throughout their communities. And whereas the National Service expands economic opportunity by creating more sustainable, resilient communities and providing education, career, skills, also leadership abilities for those who serve. Whereas service participants serve in more than 70,000 locations across the country. They bolster the civic, neighborhood, and faith-based organizations that are so vital to our economic and social well-being, increasing the impact of organizations that they serve by both through their direct service and by recruiting and managing millions of additional volunteers. Whereas National Service represents a unique public-private partnership that invests in community solutions and leverages non-federal resources to strengthen community impact and increase the return on taxpayer dollars. Whereas RSVP volunteers demonstrate commitment, dedication, and patriotism by making an intensive commitment to service and a commitment that remains with them through their future endeavors. Therefore, I resolve Mayor Steve Johnson of the Village of Machesney Park hereby proclaim April 3rd of 2018 as National Service Recognition Day. and encourage Machesney Park residents to recognize the positive impact of national service in our village and to thank those who serve and find ways to give back to their communities.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, my name is Pam Thompson, and I'm the RSVP Director, and I have been over Winnebago and Boone County since March of 2016. It's a great, big job, and I learned that Winnebago is more than Rockford, and that was a lot of news to me. I do a lot of traveling. I have a lot of dynamic volunteers, and I just thank you so much, Mayor Johnson, for giving this to me. And I appreciate it. I get to go back and I can share this with my state officers. So this proclamation, a picture of it may be on the national website of the Corporation for National Services and Communities. So I want to just thank you so much.
Thank you.
And also this evening, we have several people that would like to address the board prior to the vote tonight. First, we have Mike Richter and somebody Barber, who would like to speak in reference to the open use of the public beach for all boaters. So this is in reference to one of the items on the agenda. So would you please take the podium? And please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, President Johnson and Board of Trustees of Machesney Park. I'm here to speak in support of keeping the Williams Park Beach open on the Rock River. I live at 1158 Key West Drive, which is in visible eye shot of the beach. I think it's a great place for people to pull their boats up in the summertime. It adds a lot to the economy to Machesney Park for both gas, food, and other recreation revenue that they spend here. And I think if we limit the use of the river in our area, we're going to see a lessening of people coming through Machesney Park. So I do say it is not a hindrance to our house, which is right across the river, and that's my comment. This is my neighbor, Chuck Barber.
Hi, my name's Chuck Barber. I live at 1125 Key West Drive, which is directly across from Pea Island, Williams Park. And I've been there since 2003, my wife and I, for 15 years. We have a lot of money invested in our home. Our view is Williams Park. I think it's a definite asset to Machesney Park. Like I said, we've been there 15 years. We haven't had any problems. Even the police officers that patrol the river have come up and talked to us if we've had any problems or anything with people over at the island, and we haven't in the past. So one thing that I'd like to throw out there at this particular time is I would like to see if Williams Park is Machesney Park's only park, I would like to see them clean the shoreline up so that we could utilize the whole shoreline of the park. And I think there would be a lot more boaters there. On a good weekend, you'll have 20, 25 boats lined up. And most of them are families. Kids are on the beach playing. Like I said, I haven't had any problems. But I would like to see, I would like to see Williams Park cleaned up so that we could use it more and it become a real asset for the village.
Thank you. Also this evening, we have Steve Lucas, who would like to speak to the same issue.
Hello, everyone. My name is Steve Lucas. I work on the river and I live on the river. I'm here to address the board about Williams Park. I have witnessed families enjoying the park for over 30 years. The present flood that we just went through has covered the park with a fresh coating of sand. The type of sand that children enjoy playing in on the weekends while out boating with their families. They enjoy the time to get out of the boat, you ride up and down the river, but to stop and have a place that they can park the boat safely, enjoy the family. I just don't understand why the village wants to take that away. My understanding is the property was donated to the village for a park, a place for families to stop and stretch their legs during a fun day of boating. The question I have is, was the park, when it was donated, designed for public use? Has the village checked with the DNR for the legality of closing public property on a navigable waterway? Is the park listed as a stopping place on the Rock River Trail for people that kayak the river? If access is a problem, a culvert pipe could be installed on the north end of the property. I just drove by there this week to allow access for vehicles. It seems that seems to be the reason that you want to close it, because you can't get vehicles out there. If that is the problem, I mean, you have a sheriff's department for Machesney Park. You could purchase a boat if you needed to send deputies out there in the evenings, if that's when the problem is, because it sure doesn't seem like there's a problem during the day when the park is used the most. And in the summertime, you're talking probably for good weekends, maybe 20 days a year, that now you want to deny families the access to that park. I hope you take all this into account, all these people that have talked, when you go to make your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lucas. Also this evening, we have Mr. Harlan Powell to speak to Resolution 09R18. This is the Mod Pizza.
Good evening. Again, my name is Harlan Powell. I'm the attorney for Mod Pizza. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and trustees, for allowing me to speak this evening. First, I would like, on behalf of Mod, to thank you all for welcoming us to Machesney Park. I was actually just at the new location. It seemed to be doing very well. I actually had dinner there this evening. If you have not yet been, please check it out. It's quite good. I'm here specifically, though, to address the staff recommendations with respect to the application we filed on Mod's behalf for the outdoor patio area. One of the conditions was that an employee hand deliver any beer or wine product that is ordered by a consumer who hopes to enjoy that product in the outdoor patio area. Unfortunately for Mod, this requirement is pretty much incompatible with their overall business model. They run a very small, tight ship, 5 to 6 people per shift, and each one of those individuals is pretty much dedicated to either running the cash register, making the pizzas, and making sure everything at the point of service is run per company standards. This is a fast casual restaurant concept. It does not involve fine dining, white tablecloth, table service, as one would traditionally see that in a more of a sit-down, leisurely type of dining venue. Because of that, they've asked me to address the board requests that one condition either be modified or removed so that Mod can maintain its traditional business model. And failing that, this has happened in other jurisdictions where there just isn't that comfort level to allow for consumers to sort of police themselves as they go into the outdoor area. And I'm not sure what the process would be, but they would like to proceed with the underlying liquor license, the Class C, and withdraw the application for the Class P, the outdoor area. We certainly understand the concern for public safety. We certainly understand the concern that either minors or people just walking off the premises with an alcoholic beverage, and we certainly don't want to get wound up in that type of situation. So rather than run that risk, they would simply withdraw the application if there isn't some sort of middle ground that we could work with staff to come up with. So as you make your determinations this evening, please take that into consideration. And once again, we do thank you for the opportunity to be a part of Machesney Park. We look forward to many years of good pizza and good times for the families who live here.
Thank you. Trustee Kidd.
Sir,
Yes.
when I was looking at your webpage and Rand Road, Naperville, and the other mod pizzas, have there been any problems with anybody policing themselves in your normal setting without any modification to the P liquor license?
In the state of Illinois, and I can only answer with respect to Illinois, because that's the focus of our representation. I believe there are 15 locations in the state of Illinois, most of which do have an outdoor patio area similar to what has been installed here in Machesney Park. There have been no violations of any kind involving the sale or service of alcoholic beverages at any of their locations in the 3+ years that I have represented them, with one exception in Gurney Mills about 2 years ago, and that was an undercover sting operation sponsored by the state of Illinois. The company policy is fairly strict in that regard, not only before it became state law, before it became mandated that all employees involved in alcoholic beverage service be Bassett trained. That was something that MOD incorporated into their business model, into their culture. They're a very family-friendly restaurant, and the last thing that they want associated with their brand is a reputation for sloppy, shoddy, or unlawful service. So as a general rule, they have been very compliant in the state of Illinois, and as I mentioned, I'm aware of only one violation in the 3.5+ years that I've represented them.
Thank you.
Trustee Beck, please.
Sir, could you tell me the percentage of food versus alcohol that this patio is going to, contain? Are we talking an equal amount?
Sure. As a general rule, and I've never heard of any mod pizza spiking the percentages here, but we're talking about 96-97% food sales as opposed to 2-3% alcohol. Some people do ask why bother than having an alcohol license in the first place, and that really is to create a consistent experience from location to location to location. There are the husband and wife who would like, the husband would like a glass of beer, the wife would like a glass of wine while their children are having their pizza. So the license is designed specifically to accommodate those occasional customers who would like that complete experience as they define it.
Another question?
Yeah, Trustee Beck.
Do you define this mod pizza as a sports bar of any sort?
No, there's no bar to speak of. There's no place for a customer to sit down, watch the game. There's no dance floor. There's no music. Alcoholic beverages are not advertised in the window or local media. There are no happy hour specials, that type of thing. This is really just an accommodation for the occasional customer who's looking for that.
Thank you. Any other questions for him?
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And I believe that's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you. Next, we'll have the warrant. Trustee Aaron Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor. Warrant this evening totaled $464,634.72, and the Administration and Finance Committee did positively promote that here this evening, so I'd like to make a motion for that's approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please take roll call?
Trustee Sipes.
Aye.
Smith is absent. Kidd.
Aye.
Wilson.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye.
Beck.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent.
Bills have been approved. Next on the agenda is the administrative reports. Behalf of me, it's been a very, very busy 2 weeks for myself. Been very excited to have 2 restaurants open on 173 corridor. The KFC reopened on Tuesday, March 27th, with a huge turnout with the opening day. And on March 30th, Mod Pizza held a grand opening and ribbon cutting at noon. There were dozens of people in line waiting for them to open the doors. They've had record-setting crowds for their soft opening the first 2 days beforehand. I encourage everyone to go out and support the new businesses in Machesney Park, as well as exciting existing businesses in the village itself. I visited Parker Hydraulic Accumulator located at 10711 North 2nd Street last week and toured their facility and found that it is very, very impressive business in my eyes. I met with Andrew Jury from Rockford Local Development Corporation, a private non-for-profit economic development agency that can help small businesses obtain financial help, which is a great tool to help certain type of businesses relocate in the village. On Saturday, I attended the Parks Chamber annual Easter egg hunt held at Harlem High School on the football field. The field turf was invaluable this year because of the rain just an hour beforehand. And the turf was dry and there was no mud. Over 150 kids braved the cold and had a great time gathering eggs and meeting with the Easter bunnies. A big thank you goes out to all the volunteers who helped make this event such a success. Continuing on with the administrative reports, next would be Attorney Tom Green. Do you have a report this evening?
Not tonight, John. Thank you.
Thank you. Next would be administrative Village Administrator Tim Savage, please.
No report this evening, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Next would be Finance and HR HR Person Manager Michelle Johansson.
No report, thank you.
Thank you. Next would be James Richter. Do you have a report this evening?
Yes, Your Honor, very quickly. Actually, I'm not going to repeat what you had mentioned. This is just a photo of the Mod Pizza grand opening. And the next photo is in regards to the KFC. Through our Destination Machesney program, we kind of held a joint project with KFC by offering a $25 gift card to anyone who shared the post regarding the grand opening, as well as commented on their favorite menu item. We'd done this once before, a contest similar like this for By the Dozen Bakery, and we had reached something like 50,000 people. This contest reached over 100,000 people in the area, most of them regionally, and it really obviously provided some great bang for the buck for KFC to get the word out at low cost, and it really generated some buzz for Route 173 in Machesney Park through this program. So this is in line with what we're planning to continue to do through Destination Machesney, and just wanted to share the success with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next would be Superintendent of Public Works, Chad Hunter.
No report tonight. Thank you.
Okay, next would be Public Safety Supervisor, Lieutenant Pete Delpra.
No report. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Next would be Committee and Trustee reports. Does any trustee have a report this evening? Trustee Wilson.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Administration and Finance Committee met this evening, and we have one ordinance and 3 resolutions that will go to the April 16th board meeting with positive recommendation.
Thank you. Any other, Trustee Beck?
Thank you, Your Honor. The Planning and Economic Development Committee met this evening and approved one ordinance that will go on to the April 16th meeting with a positive recommendation.
Thank you. Any other reports? Hearing none. Next would be consent agenda. Would like the staff to present all items to be considered on the consent agenda.
Tonight's consent agenda consists of item A, ordinance 618, zoning map amendment, changing the zoning classification at 9320 North 2nd Street from R1 to AG, final reading. Item B, ordinance 718, adoption of the official zoning map for 2018, final reading. Item C, ordinance 918, issuance of a Class C liquor license at MOD Pizza, or for MOD Pizza at 1419 West Lane Road, and to increase the number of Class C licenses in the Village Code. Final reading. Item D, ordinance 1218, amendment to Chapter 29, Article 2 of the Village Code restricting boat parking at Williams Park. Final reading. Item E, ordinance 1318, authorize the second amendment to the fiscal year 17-18 budget. First reading. Item F, ordinance 1518, adoption of the annual budget fiscal year 18-19, first reading. Item G, ordinance 1618, authorize the disposal of certain village-owned property no longer needed for village operations. First reading. Item H, resolution 9R18, issuance of a Class P liquor license for MOD Pizza at 1419 West Lane Road, Suite D. Item I, resolution 12R18, authorize operating transfers for the fiscal year 17-18. Item J, resolution 13R18, to settle interfund transfers for the fiscal year 17-18. Item K, resolution 14R18, award contract for village mowing services. Item L, resolution 15R18, authorize the village engineer to proceed with engineering for Stones Landing project, or parking project, and the Victory Lane roadway improvements. Item M, resolution 16R18, authorize the village administrator to enter into short-term facility use agreements for 8702 North 2nd Street. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Are there any items a trustee would like removed from the consent agenda to consider separately? Trustee Kidd.
Your Honor, I would like C, D, and M removed from the consent agenda and move them to new business, please.
Okay. C, D, and M, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
We'll go to unfinished.
I'm sorry. Those will go under unfinished business. I
Okay.
apologize.
Okay. Is there any others that want to be removed? So, item C, ordinance 918, Class C liquor license MOD Pizza, and ordinance 1218, amend Chapter 29, Article 2, and resolution 16R18, authorize the village administrator to enter in a short-term facility use agreement.
Could I get a clarification? If this is in reference to the MOD pizza liquor license request that was addressed during comments, that would be item H. That's for the Class P patio license. If there's no issues with the actual issuance of the Class C license, that one could stay. Just wanted to clarify you're good with that.
Thank you for correcting me, and P it is.
So, thank you, sir.
Item C will stay on the consent agenda. Item P will come off.
Yes.
So H, okay.
H. I mean, item H.
Okay.
I apologize.
No. Resolution 9R18, Class P liquor license, and,
D, H, and M.
okay, these will be removed from consent agenda and considered under unfinished business. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So made.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will the clerk please take roll call?
Trustee Kidd.
Aye.
Wilson.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye.
Beck.
Aye.
Sipes.
Aye.
Mayor Johnson.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent.
Consent agenda has been approved. Next, we'll go to unfinished business. I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance 1218, amend Chapter 29, Article 2 of the village regarding Williams Park boating, final reading. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So made.
Second. We have a motion and a second. May I have staff report?
I'll provide the board with the abbreviated staff report on this, since we've had some discussion before at the committee level. And this is simply an ordinance that amends Chapter 29 that would disallow or prohibit boat parking access from the river to Williams Park. It's in reaction or response to complaints we've had over the last 2 years of the boating public that has been utilizing that space. And we've had complaints of fireworks usage, loud and excessive music, partial nudity, and other things that go along with the term P Island. So that's it in a nutshell. I'm just open it up for discussion.
Is there any discussion? Trustee Kidd?
Your Honor, I was going to vote yes for this, but I would like to make a motion to pass this over until the next meeting. I would like to talk to more people that live across the river and people on the other side of the river near Williams Park. So I would like to make a motion to carry this business over until the next meeting so I can get better informed, please.
So we have a pending motion?
Pending motion.
We have a motion to table?
So we have a motion to table.
Motion to table, it needs a second.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion?
Can we table it to a date certain? It's on, it comes on, it'll be on the next agenda.
Next agenda.
Okay, it's on the next agenda, and it's not a debatable motion.
Okay. Guess we'll take roll call on the amendment.
On the amendment. Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye.
Beck.
Aye.
Sipes.
Aye.
Smith's absent. Kidd.
Aye.
Okay, 5 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent.
Okay, so that will be the one.
Next table, it should be put on the next agenda,
Right.
next month's agenda, not on the consent agenda. Oh, I can't.
Okay. Okay, continuing on with unfinished business, I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 9R18, Class P liquor license, Mod Pizza, 1419 West Lane Road, Suite D. Entertain a motion?
So made.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Any staff report? Or we probably went over that?
Yes,
Thorough
thank you.
enough?
So this P license is complementary to the Class C license, which was just approved through final reading of the consent agenda. There were 3 conditions that went along with operation of this patio. One, that a 3-foot tall railing enclosing the patio must be installed. And 2, that customers cannot transport alcoholic beverages to the outdoor patio, and that the wait staff shall deliver those drinks and serve them to customers seated on the patio. And 3, that signage would be installed to displayed in the outdoor area that no alcoholic drinks were allowed past this point or essentially outside the patio area. The rationale for that requirement is that in this particular case, the patio is not directly attached to the premises. And in all cases of our liquor licenses throughout the village, and this is pretty common in the industry, in fact, patrons are not allowed to exit through the main doors of an establishment with open seal and enter into essentially an open parking lot, which is what this setup would require, because there's a space between the front entrance and the seating area. Just by virtue, really of no fault of MOD, just by virtue of how this patio area, this area was constructed that they now want to use as a patio, and the building was constructed before MOD was really considered for tenancy there. So again, we're creating this rule similar to what we did with Noodles and Company down the block, and trying to accommodate their request for outdoor service of alcohol, while at the same time trying to control the open seal liquor that would be exiting this premises into an open parking lot. So that's the rationale behind it. Those are the restrictions. What I'm hearing the applicants say is that if these restrictions are put in place, that they would like to discontinue their application for a patio license, and that can be accommodated at staff level. If the board has discussion and a vote, then, with these conditions, we can simply terminate that license after the vote, so we don't have to worry about that portion of it at the board level. Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying that. Is there any discussion? Oh, Trustee Kidd.
I would like to see Mod Pizza be able to exercise P as their program has been successful throughout throughout the state of Illinois with one error. And I think we should give somebody a chance and be business friendly here in Machesney Park. So therefore, I would like to see something say, we will allow you to do what you want per your business model, but when the mistake comes, then we need to enforce this rule and revoke the P license. I would like to see something like that because I would like to see them given a chance to do their business model. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Trustee Beck?
I think that patio licenses are great for bar owners and restaurants. I think it helps them with their open-air concept and summer hours and all that, but I'm a little timid to allow, patrons to walk off to the front door of a building with open liquor. And in this particular case, I'll be voting no on this.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Trustee Sipes?
Thank you, Your Honor. I have to say the same because I think it's the temptation. There's other restaurants close by, and the temptation to walk out and walk down to get something to eat somewhere else because you can buy the beer there and you can't get it like at Potbelly's. That temptation's there. And I think at 3 to 4% of their sales in alcohol, I think if the people really want a beer or a glass of wine, they can sit inside the building and enjoy it. So I'll be voting no for it.
Thank you.
Just to, if I might make a point, you both indicated you're going to vote no. The patio license now prohibits the walking out of the front door with an open seal. It would have to be delivered. So you can vote yes on the patio license as it is presented. They can choose to do it or not do it. Even if it's approved and they choose to not get their license, they cannot get their license. So you don't need to vote no, unless this were amended to allow what you think is inappropriate. Okay. So I think you're okay to vote yes, technically, as it exists right now. Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying that. Any other discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please take roll call?
Trustee Bailey?
Aye.
Beck?
No.
Sipes?
Aye.
Kidd?
No.
Wilson?
Aye.
Mayor Johnson?
Aye.
So we have 2 nays, 4 ayes, 2 nays, and 1 absent.
So it passes.
And it passes.
So, Resolution 9R18, Class P license passes. Next would be, under unfinished business, would be Resolution 16R18, authorize the village administrator to enter into a short-term facility use agreement for 8702 North 2nd Street. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So made.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. May I have staff report, please?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. As the village promotes the available space at JCPenney, which is 8702 North 2nd, we encounter numerous requests for short-term uses of the facility. And this doesn't include the entire building, sometimes smaller portions of the building. As an example, we've leased temporarily to Keith Country Day School for the car show. We've filled a request from Oak Street Health to do kind of health fairs there this year, as well as a request for a small dance studio to kind of do a month-to-month thing to use the space, use a small portion of the space to have dance classes. Often, the timing it takes to go through the process doesn't coincide with the date of the event or the magnitude, quite frankly, of the event. So we're requesting that the ordinance that's proposed is to allow the village administrator to be able to enter into agreements, short-term agreements, not to exceed 1 year, that would allow that to be handled at the staff administrative level. And we're happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Trustee Kidd?
I would like to see, to me, a short-term lease for approval without the board consent is 30 days. 1 year seems to be a little bit too long, in my opinion, without consent from the village board. I would like to make a motion to make an amendment to approve it to be 30 days and not 1 year.
Okay, we have a motion to make it 30 days versus a year. Do we have a second? We have a second? Hearing none, we'll go on to the way it's on the agenda.
Motion fails for lack of a second. and
Okay.
we proceed to the vote.
Okay, then, will the clerk please take roll call?
Trustee Beck.
Aye.
Sipes.
Aye.
Kidd.
Nay.
Wilson.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye.
Mayor Johnson.
Aye. So resolution.
Five ayes, one nay, and one absent.
Resolution 16R18 has passed. Next on the agenda is new business. I'll entertain a motion to approve. Ordinance 1018, Class C liquor license, Happy Walk, 1021 North 2nd Street. Increase the number of C license first reading. We have a motion?
So made.
Second.
And a second. May I have staff report, please?
Yes, thank you. The request before you this evening is for the Happy Walk at 173 and 251, which is the more original location here in town, I believe, to request a C license to allow the consumption of beer and wine on premise only. The applicant has been transparent with us and mentioned that they are only looking to request what is consistent with the recently constructed Happy Walk further south on North 2nd, and it is their intent to come back in the future to seek a G license to allow gaming at that facility. This request did pass at the Liquor Commission, but last year this item was requested from the board and from Liquor Commission, which at that time it did pass Liquor Commission but failed at the board level on the first reading. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Mr. Richter, have they given you like a little blueprint of how they're going to design or what they're trying to do here?
No, sir, we have not received that.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Trustee?
Mr. Richter, did you ask for one?
I believe staff did ask for one of those, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Beck?
Are the applicants here?
They are.
Yeah,
They wouldn't, if I might, they wouldn't need a layout since they're not asking for gaming at the moment. This is simply a license to serve beer and wine.
That's correct. But we still did inquire on how the layout would take place when we're talking with the petitioner, the applicant.
Did you? Okay. Any other questions? Hearing none, will the clerk please take roll call?
Trustee Sipes.
Aye.
Kidd.
Aye.
Wilson.
Nay.
Bailey.
Aye.
Beck.
Nay.
Mayor Johnson.
Nay.
3 ayes, 3 nays, 1 absent.
So the ordinance fails for, yep. Ordinance 1018 Class C license fails the board. Next, I'll bring the next one is ordinance 1818 contract to purchase 1017 Harlem Road, first reading. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So made.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. May I have staff report, please?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. The village staff is placing this item back on the agenda to expedite the acquisition of this parcel. The statutory requirements for notifications following the adoptions of previously approved ordinances put the village in jeopardy of failing to complete our contractual obligations to close on these properties in a timely fashion. Additionally, we did not have a full board attendance on March 19th, and therefore it would be prudent for us to revisit this once again to ensure the efficacy of our process for acquiring real estate. I'd be happy to defer to Attorney Green to discuss the change in the ordinance that references a different statutory requirement that allows us to purchase real estate.
I can simply comment that there are a couple of different ways which you can purchase property. This one will provide for a more efficient approach, allow for the shortening of notices and time limits, and allow these to close under the timeframes that the buyer was looking to close, especially on the Harlem Road property.
And if I could add, Your Honor, due to timing, we're requesting that both ordinances be reviewed via double reading tonight, if possible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please take roll call?
Trustee Kidd.
Aye.
Wilson.
Aye.
Bailey. Aye. Beck.
Aye.
Sipes.
Aye.
Mayor Johnson.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent.
Ordinance 1818 has passed. Now, I'll entertain a motion to waive the rules to bring back for second reading.
So made.
Second.
Motion and second.
I do have a question,
Kid.
and I would like to ask it to staff, please.
Sure, direct it towards staff, sure.
Mr. Richter, with the purchase of these properties, which it appears that's going to go through tonight, what is the intent that the village would do with it?
Well, I'm going to speak to 1017 Harlem, if that's okay, because that's the item that I think is up right now. 1017 Harlem has been a dilapidated, vacant, and abandoned structure for quite some time. We've had some challenges in pursuing them to demolish the structure because it is beyond repair. When we found that it was available at a pretty marketable price, and we had I guess recently sought approval through our APP grant program to get additional funding. We thought this property fell right in line with our plans and goals for that property, and so that's why we are taking action to pursue it.
And I understand that, that through the grant, we're going to purchase it, but what's the long-term goal? Are we going to try to sell it? Are we going to make it a park? Are we going to, what's the long-term goal with purchasing this property?
Sure, hopefully we're going to get it demolished at some point in the future, and then we can decide it can be used for any variety of public purposes, and if we determine that there's not a public purpose for it in the future, we have the right to sell it or transfer it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
This is a vote on the motion to waive the rules to bring it back for second reading.
Okay, yes, right, exactly. So the motion to waive the rules, okay, yep, to bring it back for second reading. Will the clerk please take roll call?
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Bailey. Aye. Beck.
Aye.
Sipes.
Aye.
Kidd.
Aye.
5 ayes and no nays and 1 absent.
Okay.
To waive the rules.
Okay. So,
For second.
yeah, I'll entertain ordinance 1818 for second reading.
So made.
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please take roll call?
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Bailey. Aye. Beck.
Aye.
Sipes.
Aye.
Kidd.
Aye.
Mayor Johnson.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent.
Ordinance 1818 has passed for second reading. Next, I'll entertain ordinance 1918, approve the purchase 4 parcels, first reading. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So made.
Second.
Motion and second. May I have staff report, please?
Thank you. This ordinance is being brought back for the purchase of 4 properties for the same reasons that Mr. Richter had stated earlier. The village has the opportunity to purchase 4 properties through a county tax sale. 3 of the properties are located within our floodplain buyout area, and one of the properties is a detention area adjacent to a commercial property we own off of Rolling Hills. The total purchase price for the 4 properties is $1,623.96, and the money will come out of the CIP fund for the purchase. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please take roll call?
Trustee Bailey. Aye. Beck.
Aye.
Sipes.
Aye.
Kidd.
Aye.
Wilson.
Aye.
Mayor Johnson.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent.
Ordinance 1918 has been approved. I'll entertain a motion to waive the rule to bring back for second reading ordinance 1918.
So made.
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please take roll call on the amendment, or
To waive.
to waive the rule?
Trustee Beck.
Aye.
Sipes.
Aye.
Kidd.
Aye.
Wilson.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye.
Mayor Johnson.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent.
We have waived the rules. I'll bring back for second reading, ordinance 1918, approve the purchase of 4 parcels, second reading. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So made.
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please take roll call?
Trustee Beck.
Aye.
Sipes.
Aye.
Kidd.
Aye.
Wilson.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye.
Mayor Johnson.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent.
Ordinance 1918 has been approved for second reading. Next is public comment. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the board for the good of the village?
Trustee Beck has his hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Trustee Beck.
Yeah, Steve, you said on these two, you said second reading. That's actually first reading.
No, that was
First time.
We amended it.
We amended it.
For
for
the
second
amended?
reading.
Okay, okay. All right, thank
So,
you.
no, thank you. Next is public comment. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the board for the good of the village? Hearing none, next is adjournment. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So made.
Second.
Or a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.